Hey everyone, good morning, happy Friday, and welcome to another episode in our series of one book, one verse at a time as we walk through the Bible. Today we're looking at the book of Micah. Now, Micah is another one of these Old Testament prophets that's written around the time frame of the fall of Israel and not quite the fall of Jerusalem, but its prediction. It's one of these books that notices the disconnect between what people are saying and what they're actually doing, how they're continuing to just live their lives however they see fit, including oppressing the poor and taking advantage of them, piling up all kinds of money for themselves, and then going to the temple and saying thank you for that, and then doing all of the sacrifices and things that were required in the law, thinking that that was good enough to get God off their backs, so that they could continue to do whatever they wanted. It was about a time when they trusted in themselves, their own military might, and their own experience in being able to overcome and go through other things, all the while kind of thinking, well, God's here with us, nothing bad can possibly happen to us. Now, the book of Micah is split up into kind of three cycles of judgment and predictions of bad things that are going to happen, and then also promises of restoration. So there's judgment, restoration, judgment, restoration, judgment, restoration. And one of the more famous lines in Micah is Micah 6 verse 8, where God outlines what it is that he requires of us. What does the Lord require of you but to act justly, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with our God? It's the sense in which actually living like someone that follows God is so much more important than providing millions of sacrifices or donating millions of dollars or whatever it is that we think works in our favor towards God. It's actually about having a changed life. But I think the more significant thing about Micah is the way that he continues to promise restoration and forgiveness, even in the midst of all of this. And it all comes down to the character of God in this. In Micah 5, Micah prophesies that there will be someone who will come from Bethlehem, whose origins will be from of old, and who will marshal his troops, and he will gather his people together, and he will overcome the forces of evil and will set up a new kingdom again here on earth. And this restoration that is promised, of course, we see fulfilled in Jesus, when Jesus is born in Bethlehem. But this commitment to being with his people, and from what we see in Jesus, not just to those people of Israel, those descendants of Abraham and Isaac and Jacob, has also been extended to all people, and a reminder that all people that come from Adam and Eve are a part of God's people, and God longs to welcome all of them back into commitment. And all of this comes from his character, which brings us to the key verse, I think, in Micah chapter 7. This is verse 18. Who is a God like you, who pardons sin and forgives the transgression of the remnant of his inheritance? You do not stay angry forever, but you delight to show mercy. This is key throughout the prophets, throughout the Bible in general. This idea that, yes, we have failed. Yes, we fake it all of the time. Yeah, we try to buy our way out of trouble. Yes, we continue to fall. I mean, there's all of these things, but also there's this underlying thread that makes the claim that God is compassionate and he does forgive. All he longs is for us to come back to him and to trust in him. And so maybe that's what you need to be most reminded of this morning, not the fact that we fail and that we don't live the way that we should and that God wants our whole lives to be changed, but maybe you need to be reminded this morning that God is compassionate, he is gracious, and he longs to give mercy to all of those who come to him. And again, if this has been useful for you and if you'd enjoyed this kind of walk through the Bible one book, one verse at a time, I'd encourage you to subscribe to our channel. And if you click the little bell that's there on our page, you'll be notified of any new videos that come out.